Speaking of dangerous, can we get to Jerry Jones and the Micah Parsons?
Yeah, let's get to it.
Let's get to it.
Yeah.
So Jerry Jones spoke about saying that he's going to come to an agreement, that he's come to an agreement with Micah Parsons or whatever, but it did not involve Parsons' agent. Okay, and so first let's hear Jerry Jones.
Term, guarantees, money, all those things. We've had a meeting of the minds.
Why have you not had that same meeting of minds with his agent?
Well, I don't know that, it's I'm the one who has to sign the check, and Michael's the one that has to agree to it. So that's the straightest way to get there is the one writing the check and the one agreeing to it talking. And that's the principle that's involved here. And I understand all the other issues, but as you know, it's not uncommon for me to negotiate directly with players, and I've done that. And so we are there. I don't view it as urgent at all. Some say, well, using the basis that the earlier you get something done, the cheaper. Well, the earlier you get something done, a lot of times the more mistakes you make. And you might want to see a few more cards played, not just with that particular negotiation, but with the whole team. And so I know I'm kind of being a little defensive here, but the idea that the only success is getting a contract done at an early time is incorrect. And I'd rather pay more and get it right.
All right. Jerry, the price only goes up. It doesn't go down. So if you can lock somebody up sooner, it's cheaper.
Yes.
I mean, come on.
Yes.
Dragging something and kicking it down the can. And here's the other part. He pretended like he didn't know the agent's name at all, which is kind of disrespectful. And, of course, Micah Parsons, didn't he shoot back and said, I'm not signing a deal without my agent or whatever, like this whole notion that he had already agreed to a deal.
Right.
What do you make of this and Jerry Jones? I'll just start with you.
You know what? It's crazy. I don't know, but I do know that he's it's from what I would gather from it, what it seems like is he's trying to get a buddy deal. But that doesn't really make sense. It's Micah Parsons' first big deal, and so he's going to try to get every dollar he can.
Why would he give a discount to the Dallas Cowboys?
Exactly. So I don't know what's underneath there. What's the motive? Maybe he doesn't like the agent as well. Maybe the agent did something early on in his career that, put some pressure on Jerry Jones to do some things. So he's trying to one up him here in this situation when he can. But outside of that, it doesn't really make sense. And the fact that he's even talking about it publicly would lend its hand to this is a slap in the agent's face, and the agent's done something to him. Yeah,
it doesn't really make sense. Right. Do you have that, Justin? You have that tweet by Micah Parsons? Oh, okay. And let me. Micah Parsons said, "What is it? How do you, David? What is it? How do you
believe it's Morgetta?
Morgetta? Okay. Facts. David is the best, and I will not be doing any deal without David Morgetta involved. Like anyone with good sense, I hire experts for a reason. There is no one I trust more when it comes to negotiating contracts than David. There will be no back doors in this contract." Well, obviously, Micah's right. I mean, the idea that Jerry would even make that. Why would you even do that?
Yeah.
That you don't have a deal. Why would you say you have basically agreed to everything or whatever and the agent wasn't involved? It sounds like a mess where you don't have to say that. All he had to say, I plan on signing Micah Parsons.
Right.
And whatever we need to do, we want him to be a Dallas Cowboy for the rest of his career.
Right.
End of story.
Right.
We'll get to that when we get to that. But do you need to do more than that?
Yeah, it's personal.
Yeah, and Jerry has made so many mistakes with waiting. You remember Dak?
Yep.
He could have had Dak a lot cheaper. Mm-hmm. He waited, kicked the can. Dak was making $60 million.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh.
And nobody believes he's worth that.
Well, no.
But that's just where we are, and you know what I mean, and the escalating prices and these other quarterbacks who aren't nearly as accomplished making that kind of money, so you got to bump him up, and it was put himself in a bad spot. But I don't know. The Cowboys, to me, have so many issues that I don't know if signing Micah Parsons is really the right decision.
No, it isn't. Micah Parsons, in my opinion, my estimation, isn't worth the money he's about to get. And I say that it's not to take a slight at him. I just don't – the impact players that they have in that league, the edge rushers, the Hendrickson from Cincinnati, Myles Garrett in Cleveland, they're better than Micah Parsons. They produce better.
Right.
So I don't want to say he's not as good as those guys because I can't say that. I haven't seen them all up close and personal.
I know what you mean.
But he doesn't produce the same way they do. And so the fact that he's about to get a number that's, I'm sure, it won't be more than Myles, I'm sure, but it's going to be right there with him. It's crazy in that aspect alone. Plus, the money that he's going to get, they're not going to be able to sign the other guys that they need. They need a lot of help.
And there you go. And that I'm with you right there. He's a piece that you can trade and get 3 pieces. Am I right?
Yes.
And the Dallas Cowboys have more holes than a golf course.
Yeah,
Let's just call it.
Yeah.
And they need pieces. Like you had Micah last year. Justin, look up the scores of their first 3 games and the playoff game where they gave up a 45 piece to Green Bay, right?
Right.
At home in the playoffs.
Not last year, the year before.
Was that last year?
That was the year before. They didn't make the playoffs this year.
I thought, you're right.
Before.
The year before. You remember that, right? Coming into last year.
Yes.
That year, and then the start of this season, they gave up like 40 or something points. The Lions went down there, kicked their butts. Justin, you got the scores for those first 3 or 4 games. They were giving up 40 points a game.
Yeah.
It was awful. And my point is not that he can't play. We know he's a star player, defensive player in the NFL. They just need way more. And if you're going to give Dak 60 and then Micah this ridiculous amount of money.
39
now,
probably.
Yeah, and then now what do you have? Like to field the rest of the team?
No, the cupboard's bare.
Right.
Plus the team's bare. They need a lot of weapons. They need a lot of reconstruction on that team. And it's so crazy how from one year where they're in the playoffs and they have some, pseudo weapons to go from that to this past year that they had. It's crazy to me. And you're talking about paying the guy all your money to please one guy. It just doesn't really make sense.
It doesn't make sense. And here we go. All right, so last year, what did they give up? 42 to the Saints.
So week 2 against the Saints, they gave up 44.
Yep.
44, go ahead.
Week 7 against the Lions, gave up 47. How much do you think they scored that game?
Yeah, they
9 points.
Yeah, I mean, they had a rough start. What about the first couple of games?
Against Philly, late in the season, week 17, they gave up 41.
Yeah, I mean, it was really bad last year. 877-99 on Fox, 877-996-6369. The Jerry stuff, we already know about.
Yeah, we
Jerry.
know that, yeah.
I mean, we're not breaking any new ground on that.
He should be at home.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And not being the team general manager. We know he owns the team. Right. He should turn it over to somebody who can get the job done. After 30 years of not getting to a conference finals, the 30 years, and you think everything's running fine? I mean, it's just ridiculous.
It wasn't running fine when they were winning.
Right.
Think about it.
No.
You get rid of Jimmy Johnson.
Right. That tells you all
That's
you
all I
need
need to know.
Yep.
That's it.
But when it comes to this, where are you on the Micah Parsons? Is he worth the headache with the podcast and the big contract you got to pay him? Because I got a name for his podcast.
What is it?
Turn Off His Micah. That's my name of his podcast. Is he worth it? Do you have to keep a guy like that? You remember Khalil Mack was traded from the Raiders.
Yes.
Remember that? To the Bears?
Yes.
And that was one of those moments where they gave up a really good player and decided that they needed some other pieces.
And they end up getting another one. And they got another edge rusher that was just as good later.
There you go. And that's the point. So if you're the Cowboys, what are you doing? You keeping them or you shipping them out and getting more pieces to try to build up your team? Emmett in Washington, you're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Emmett?
Rob Parker and Kerry Rhodes. How you guys doing today?
We're doing great. Don't forget to be listening tomorrow for the announcement. I just want you to know that.
I love that's an announcement, but I hate the cliffhanger, Rob. I mean, you're making me wait a full 24 hours. Come on, dude.
I'm sorry. We got to get it all together. That's all I'm going to tell you guys.
Hey, and Kelvin better be here for the announcement, so, I respect it. But so the Cowboys, I mean, Jerry Jones, this man is losing his mind. Like there should be some age requirement for guys to be an owner or a GM. I'm half joking with that, but I'm also not, because this dude has done so many dumb things. Like, you wait to pay Dak Prescott to where he gets $60 million a year. Like, whoever put the imaging together, and you guys were just saying, that was quick imaging, by the way. Great job by them. But I digress. So $60 million, there's only 4 quarterbacks in my book who are like worthy of that money, that being Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, and Joe Burrow, and he's not one of those 4. So I think the Cowboys, and like you guys bring up a really good point where it's like they're not going to be able to pay for their other guys. I mean, either you trade Dak Prescott or you trade Micah Parsons. I mean, CeeDee Lamb, he's your number 1 receiver. He's a top 5 receiver. I think you got to keep him. But you got to think, too, is Micah Parsons, he's kind of a headache in a way because he's doing these podcasts and he's very controversial and he's not afraid to speak what's on his mind. So you can get 3 pieces and 3 possibly more humble pieces out of Micah Parsons. I think that would be the move. And there has been rumors that Dak Prescott could get traded to the Browns. Those got shut down, but I don't know if I believe that. I think they still might be in talks, but we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, appreciate the call, Emmett. And I'm going old school, but I think it hits home. And Ralph Kiner was an old baseball player for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Mm-hmm. And Branch Rickey was the general manager of the team. And Ralph Kiner led the league in home runs or whatever, but the Pirates finished in last place. So Ralph Kiner went to go get a raise, right? I just led the league in home runs. I should get a raise. And Branch Rickey looked at him and said, "We finish in last place with you. We can finish in last place without you." Like seriously,
100%.
I'm dead serious. Like, what are you? You didn't win a Super Bowl or anything. We were in last place.
Right. You're a really good player on a really bad team. Yeah.
Jack in Kansas City, you're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Jax?
Mr. Parker, thank you for taking my call, sir.
Absolutely. How are you?
Man, I'm good out here, you know. Your co-host for today?
Kerry Rhodes.
Kerry Rhodes. Kerry, it's good to meet you, brother. I didn't know first time encountering you, so it's all good.
I appreciate you, brother.
Right on. So, bottom line is, Micah Parsons is already, at least, if not your best player, your second best player on your team. Like, understanding that quarterback is, of course, so important in this league. So if you got a good quarterback who you've already paid, whether he's good or not, you've already paid him, you got to stick with him, then you need somebody on the defensive side who's just as good as getting to the quarterback to ensure that you have some kind of balance here. And I understand that they played terrible last year, but again, that quarterback play they had last year was absolutely insane. So, in my opinion, to me, it's
so
like
you want to keep him. You want to keep him.
It's like Pat Mahomes and Chris Jones. You got to have a good player on either side of the ball that can be a leader. And I know he's controversial, but he's young. He'll mature. He'll get better. And he's playing at a position where he's good for another 4 or 5 years. So, I think he's very much worth the money for sure.
All right, Jax, appreciate it. Thank you. Thomas in Spokane, you're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Thomas?
Hey, thanks for taking my call. I love you guys so much.
Thank you, my man. We appreciate it. Right back at you.
I listen to you guys every damn day. First of all, the first thing I want to say is it's not Gonzaga, it's Gonzaga.
Okay, thank you.
You guys are in the profession, and all these sports radios I listen to them all the time, and there's like Gonzaga. It's Gonzaga.
Gonzaga, we got it. We got you. Thank you. Thanks for correcting us.
Get rid of Dak Prescott. Get rid of him and get rid of Micah Parsons. And start over, because the Dallas Cowboys are a wreck. Like you guys say, Jerry Jones they're never going to be anything with him in the helm.
No doubt. I think at this point I might take Barnaby Jones over Jerry Jones as GM. I mean,
Barnaby's pretty good.
Barnaby was good at solving crimes, at least.
It was unconventional, but yeah.
And for the young people, they could Google Barnaby.
Never heard of him.
Barnaby Jones. My mom loved that show. She watched it all the time. Barnaby Jones.
Oh, my God.
Who? It was an old TV show from CBS.
Yeah.
Like what, 60s?
No, it was in the 80s. John in Massachusetts, you're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, John?
Rob, Kerry, love you guys, and I love the Barnaby Jones reference.
Thank you. Thank you.
Man, that is awesome. Right now, guys, doesn't Jerry Jones feel a little bit like Brando at the end of The Godfather? Like he's just making no sense and he's just incoherent at times, and it's like I don't know what he's talking about. I don't think anybody knows what he's talking about. But the funny thing is, these owners are supposed to be fairly bright, and let's look to another team. Cincinnati with Mike Brown a year ago, if he re-ups Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, he saves a lot of money, and he also probably makes the playoffs because the two receivers didn't really participate in training camp, and I don't blame them because they were looking for new contracts. Mm-hmm. So, penny wise, dollar foolish, you signed them a year ago, you probably make the playoffs that year, and you also save money in the long run, and you don't pick off half your fans and half your roster.
Right.
It's just not bright, right?
It isn't. He just hasn't done a good job. I don't know how you could paint it any other way.
Right.
Jerry's been awful at running the Cowboys. And people say, well, he's a great businessman, make money. Dude, almost anybody running the Cowboys as far as merchandising and all this stuff going to make money. The Cowboys have always been at franchise.
America's team for a reason.
Exactly, for a reason.
Yeah.
So Jerry couldn't botch that up.
Right.
But he's botched up running the team. And
yeah.
That's the bad stuff. All right, now let's welcome in Mr. Ephraim Salaam, of course, former NFL offensive lineman, and, of course, a weekend radio host here at Fox Sports Radio. Ephraim, what's happening? How are you?
I'm good, brothers. How y'all doing?
Ephraim, what's up, brother?
Doing good. Let's start with Jerry Jones and the whole idea that he goes public and says he has a deal without talking to Micah Parsons' agent. I mean, what is Jerry doing? Why would he even put that in the universe or put that out there like that? It just seemed like it was out of place.
It was out of place, and, you have to wonder, man, and I'm not an ageist or anything like that, but at a certain time, you begin to lose grips with reality, all right? And sometimes, even now, I have conversations with myself that I forget that I just had them with myself. And so I may have come to a conclusion about something and forgot to include my wife, and she's like, wait, we're doing what?
Right, what?
I'm like, no, we talked about it. She was like, yeah, that didn't happen. And so I'm not saying that's what happened, but I mean, what else can you say to explain that? Like, we have a deal, and the agent's like, yeah, we do not have a deal.
Right.
Ephraim, I took it as something that was personal, right? I think there's something that happened with that agent before. I mean, that the way you're expressing it right now can obviously be a real thing, but could there be some type of relationship, a bad relationship with him and that agent?
Because he act like he didn't even know his name.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Jerry is going to prove his point, no matter how he has to prove it, and no matter who he has to prove it to. And there are little subtle things he can do to let you know that he's displeased with you or you guys aren't on the same page. And so he's been a master at that over the years, so that wouldn't surprise me at all.
How about they tabled the tush push? I guess, what are there, 16 teams or something like that wanted banned or whatever? Are they making too big of a deal out of this, Ephraim?
Yeah, they are. And I had talked about ways that you can skirt around banning it. If you just implement rules that they have implemented before, like two people from behind can't pick up a player off the ground and move him over the top of other players. That rule alone right there would negate, I guess, 80% of the actual tush push, because the players behind Jalen Hurts are literally picking him up off the ground.
Right,
right. And crowd surfing him over the top of the defense.
But what would stop guys from just picking somebody up? You got a line, of guys cuddle around them, and you just run down the field while you're carrying the guy.
Right. Yeah. Just get on his back. Like, get on your offensive tackle's back and let him just take off and run through the line of scrimmage, and you got to tackle both of them to stop the ball. But it's subtle. It's a big deal. They're making a big deal out of something that can be adjusted with one or two rules. Not more than three people at the line of scrimmage can push a player forward. They're just little simple things like that would make this whole conversation null and void. Either you do it or you don't do it.
Ephraim Salaam is our guest here on The Odd Couple on a Trash Talking Tuesday. Rob Parker, Kerry, Rhodes, right here on Fox Sports Radio.
Ephraim, what's the with all the stuff that's going on with all these rule changes that are, always happening throughout the offseason, these proposed rule changes, which one of the ones outside of the tush push is the one you're looking forward to? Or, like, it's one of those ones that shouldn't even be on the table to discuss right now?
Well, I think in essence, any of the rules that they're trying to implement that isn't unfair to everyone should be taken off the table, should be tabled, right? Like,
right.
Because what you get is, you get, like you said about the tush push, 16 teams. Well, the last I checked, it was more than 16. It was double that in the NFL.
Right.
And so you can't, like being a teacher, you can't come into the classroom and two kids don't want to do spelling. And so you change the whole program of what you're doing that day. They have to take a real clear look at when they do have rules that they want to change, because what happens is it changes the integrity and the very fabric of the actual game.
Yes.
There's been so many rules that have been put in and implemented that's taken us further and further away from the true essence of competition in football. And so they have to be very mindful of that as every year it seems 4 or 5 rules that they want to address.
From the 49ers owner, Jed York, acknowledged sacrifices on the team that they're making, getting rid of people and all kinds of stuff for this Brock Purdy extension. I don't feel comfortable with it. I don't think that he showed me that without pieces in place, he's going to carry a team. Mm-hmm. Where are you on the Brock Purdy? Obviously, you have to pay him something, but I can't see cashing him out. I can't.
Well, I just ask you this. If, let's say, someone like, I don't know, Dak Prescott or Kirk Cousins or
those are two guys that I wouldn't have cashed out either. I just want you to know that.
But I'm saying this to keep in context that if everybody keeps saying, oh, Brock Purdy can't play, it's his supporting cast, but there's about 15 to 16 starting quarterbacks in the NFL right now on giant deals who wouldn't be able to put up the numbers and do what they've done without a supporting cast, including the offensive coordinator who knows what he's doing, and supporting cast offensive-wise, whether it be a line, receivers on the outside, or running back. So anyone who has this notion or this narrative of, well, Brock Purdy can't do it by himself, there's maybe 2 or 3 quarterbacks in the entire NFL who can do it by themselves. And Brock Purdy doesn't have to be one of those guys to warrant the type of salary he's going to get. He doesn't have to be one of those guys. But what I will tell you he's a winner. And in his 4 years of starting, he's right up there with winning the most games out of anybody in a 4-year span. So we got to reframe how we're looking at it. And the only reason we have to do that is because Brock Purdy was a 7th-round draft pick.
That's not it. That's not it. I think that's not it. No. Kurt Warner wasn't even drafted, okay? So stop with that, Ephraim. And nobody ever questioned him. You watched him from day one.
You know what?
Kerry, am I right? And he balled from day one. Nobody goes, oh, this guy wasn't drafted. Right. He was bagging groceries.
How many Hall of Famers did Kurt Warner, walk into?
No, but but my point is he won a Super Bowl. I get it. Mm-hmm. And you know what? And he made those guys even better. They didn't win before he got there.
Did.
And my question,
he made them better.
And my question is,
they were there.
The 49ers went to the Super Bowl without him. They went without Brock Purdy. Mm-hmm. They went with Jimmy Garoppolo, and that's my only issue. If they hadn't been there, Ephraim, without Brock Purdy, then I would buy that he went there, took him to the Super Bowl. They had gone to the Super Bowl without him.
Yeah, they have. They're a good organization. So to say that you don't pay the quarterback who's continued your success
All
is
I'm
ridiculous.
saying is I don't believe that he's that guy. I really don't. And I've watched him.
Why?
I don't.
Because what metric?
Because I watched him last year. I watched him last year when everything's not perfect. There are a lot of people when things are perfect. I remember, and you can say whatever you want. And we're going to end it at this. I remember, go look at Aaron Rodgers' record without Devontae Adams in games. Remember they went to the desert, they played the Cardinals, who were 7-0, and when you look at guys like that and go, how can he win without Devontae Adams or without some of his best pieces? And I'm not saying you're right. There's only there's only a handful of guys.
Like I said, it's only a handful of guys that can do that. Brock Purdy doesn't have to be one of those guys to get paid market value. You're moving the goalpost.
No, it's just that it wouldn't come out of my wallet. That's all I'm saying, Ephraim. It wouldn't come out of my wallet. You could pay him. I'm not mad at you. All right, Ephraim, always, we appreciate your energy and spirit. Thank
Ephraim,
you,
my
and
brother,
knowledge.
thank you.